flying through the night, NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight, peacemakers gaining light so bright. Rev it up, feel the pace, speed hounds in the race. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Every corner, every taste, leads us closer to first place. Under lights, the engines scream, this is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight, racing on with all our might. Trucks flying through the night, NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight, peacemakers gaining light so bright. Rev it up, feel the pace, speed hounds in the race. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Thrill the place, thrill the place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Every corner, every taste, leads us closer to first place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. In this high-octane haste, every corner, every taste, leads us closer to first place. Under lights, the engines scream, this is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight, racing on with all our might. All our might. Thrill the place, thrill the place, thrill the place.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. And as we get ready to rock and roll, we get ready to rumble here this evening from the beautiful Darlington Raceway. It is race number 1 here on the season for the HDK Beagles Truck Series playoffs, as these drivers get ready to try to chase and hunt down this championship, as one driver out of the 20 playoff competitors here this year will earn their way into history books here this this season, trying to go for that championship. And for right now, a lot of these competitors all looking at trying to get the runs that they're looking for and hoping to try to put themselves into a position where they can try to advance and keep advancing, making their way through the stages and putting themselves into a position to not only win this race but also to try to work themselves into the next round and round and round of these stages and try to hunt down this championship here this year. As K-Dub Kevin Winker, K-Dub coming in, showing the love over there on Facebook, says first round of the playoffs, who will be the next HGK champion? It all starts tonight. It all starts tonight, baby. As Tubbs, what's good, Tubbs? What's good, Mr. Milner? As he, Tubbs says, brother, what's good, brother? How are you? As Tubbs says, make sure you go take a look at the Dirt Track Junkie rides this week. Got the throwbacks on for the Lady in Black. Woo, baby, we love that. We love to see the Lady in Black throwback paint schemes here. Is Michael Dickinson, how are you? Papa Mike coming in, showing the love with that heart reaction. Kevin Winker also coming in with that heart reaction over there on Facebook. As ladies and gentlemen, Boys and girls, if you're just tuning in, even if you're re-watching the broadcast, make sure you guys do us a favor right now. Hit that gosh heckin' like button on the stream. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that follow button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today as we get ready to set these drivers loose. We get ready to go to battle in just a few more moments as qualifying quickly coming to a close. We do see Jason LePan still sitting out there in his Tech Warrior Pop Smoke 22, number 20 ride as he'll come off of the racetrack. And we'll get ready here. Our green flag coming up next here. Looks like we got 28 drivers loaded into the sim, each and every one of them looking for the win here this evening. And for all these drivers looking to try to put themselves into a good position, whether it's trying to earn some extra points out there by leading laps or the most laps or potentially winning stages and trying to put themselves into a position to win this race here this evening. As the lady in black, it will earn its stripes here this evening. A lot of these drivers are going to be rolling up against that outside fence. Tires will become an issue, and everyone will have to try to keep themselves out of trouble off of that outside wall and still pointed in the right direction as we'll get ready to go to battle. We'll get ready to duke it out here in this one as it is Chris Gilbert. Gilbert in the Jags.com number 45 ride. There he is. There is Mr. Gilbert starting in our pole position. To his outside in the Pop Smoke 22, it is the 18 machine of Jacob Grube. Grube will start there in position number 2. Cal Turboville in the Klondike 64 ride in position number 3. To his outside in the Celsius Bucky's ride, that is Alex Pelican. And then we see Brad Lane. Lane will start in the 5th position. Bobby Blair in the 75 ride, the KR Gutters Ridge Power Sports 75 rounding out our top 6. Nate Maurer in the DSR Electric number 971 ride. He will be up in position number, I do believe this is position number 7 on the racetrack. To his outside will be that 3 right of Mark Beverly. Starting in position number 9 in that beautiful number 5 machine, that is Nicholas Snyder. And to his outside, rounding out our top 10, it is that Tech Warrior ride, the 20 machine of Jason LePan. His teammate back there in 11th, that is Ed Koshersberger. To his outside in the beautiful throwback paint scheme machine here this evening. I love that Dale Earnhardt Sr. throwback paint scheme ride there. The 91 of Tyson Pankow will start there in 12th. Brandon Meng back there in 13th, and his Ghost Energy ride to his outside will be the 51 of Brian Chu. As Chu rolls there in the 14th position, we see the number 27 of Nick Garner there in 15th. Zach Michael to his outside in 16th. Then we see the beautiful 38 ride, the Dirt Track Junkies.com machine. That is the 38 of Joshua Ledoux back there in 17th. To his outside in that KR Gutters Ridge Power Sports 87 ride, it is John Herbert. Starting in the 19th position in the 7 ride is the Boston Web Marketing Machine of Brett Summers, and rounding out our top 20 in that Fritz for Pets, the Juke Joint number 10, that is Tim Blankenbeckler. Starting in position number 21 is the 21 ride. That is John McCulloch there in 21st. William Klein in the beautiful, almost AC Delco looking ride. I do believe that's a Kevin Harvick potential throwback paint scheme there for the 88 as the Dirt Track Junkies machine of William Klein back there in the 22nd spot. Then we see Nathaniel Ostrowiecki, Robert Howard, Ryan Peterson, Kevin Winker back there, K-Dub back in the 25th spot with Rob McDonald in the 13 of Kyle Van Tassel bringing up that final row. Is here we go, ending all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here in this one. As the green flag quickly out here on the racetrack. All these drivers try to keep on rolling, try to race their way to the front of the field, but right now it is Chris Gilbert who leads us for the first time down the Boeing back straightaway here at the Lady in Black. It is Darlington Raceway here this evening, and for all these drivers, they're just trying to keep themselves out of trouble, trying to keep their cars pointing the right direction, potentially out of that outside fence, and hoping to keep all 4 fenders pointed in the right direction here this evening. As 137 laps of racing action on the docket as Tubbs says that's Matt Crafton, laugh out loud, Matt Crafton, and then that one is David Reagan's Weather Channel car. What's up, Mr. Holler? What's good, Holler? And then Dale Jr. in the 88 ride. Okay, so we got a couple of those different paint schemes back there for the Dirt Track Junkies crew, obviously sporting some very beautiful paint schemes out there. That is the David Reagan Weather Channel car right there. Okay, definitely never thought we'd see a throwback to that one, that's for certain. Not a whole lot of throwbacks there to David Reagan, and then obviously the Dale Jr. 88 machine a little deeper there in the field, looking beautiful as always as that 88 ride rolls there in position number 20. You do see Tyson Pankow. Pankow's is a Matt Crafton throwback paint scheme. Okay, it's got a great look, or similar, very similar look to the Dale Earnhardt ride. I'm sure this was probably somewhat inspired by, obviously, Dale Sr.'s paint scheme throughout the years, as we do see that beautiful 91 rolling there in the 11th position. All these drivers looking good early on here this evening as Chris Gilbert continues to lead the way. Gilbert out in front. Cal Turbeville there in second with Jacob Grube, Alex Pelican, and Bobby Blair rounding out our top 5. Brad Lane there in position number 6 here in this one as Lane rolls in that 6th position. We see Mark Beverly, Nicholas Snyder both trying to move forward here as Nate Maurer slides back a couple spots early on, now back into the 9th position. Jason LePan rounding out our top 10 here on the racetrack as Tyson Pankow, Zach Michael, and Nick Garner both trying to hunt their way to the front here this evening, trying to race their way up and through the field here as Ed Koschersberger, Brian Chu, and Brandon Domingue all falling back a couple spots here early on in this race. Says, man, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be a lot of fun. We do see Rob McDonald back here as well. Trench started at the back of the pack, and he has got this beautiful number 31 ride rolling to the front of the field here as the FEB distributing. Is that what that says? The Molson Coolers, the FEB distributing 31 ride rolling back there now in the 23rd position early on, up 5 spots on the racetrack, and he's going to look to continue to try to race his way up towards the front of the field as right now Chris Gilbert continuing to hang on to the race lead is Rodney Stewart. What's good, Rodney? Says, good evening, Peacemaker. What's good, Rodney? How are you today, brother? How are you? Hopefully you're having yourself a great day, Mr. Holler. Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Tuesday night as well, as no better place to be than here watching these guys out here battling in this one. As that 64 has a shot tonight, he says. So does that 5 and 45. Yeah, they're going to be very, very tough here this evening. I think they're going to be, there's going to be a few drivers, I think, that are really going to surprise us, that are really going to have a great opportunity at winning this race here this evening. When you look back there, you see Bobby Blair having a solid run already up inside the top 5. We could see this Ridge Power Sports ride find his way up and into victory lane. Maybe Mark Beverly back there as well, hanging strong up inside the top 7, looking to try to make his move around Brad Lane. Lane, another one of those drivers that I think could potentially find a groove, maybe race his way up here to a win this evening. As Chris Gilbert, though, continues to lead the way. Gilbert, nice and easy down through quarter 1 and out of 2, will lead us back down the Boeing back straightaway here in Darlington as all these drivers trying to hunt him down. You see that 64 rider, Cal Turbeville, sticking right with him, not letting him stretch out that race lead, not letting him necessarily open up a huge gap out there on the racetrack, keeping him within a truck length or 2 out there on the racetrack. And so far, Cal doing a very good job sticking there in second, as we did see Alex Pelican able to make that move around Bobby Blair and Jacob Grube here. So Pelican up and into 3rd. Jacob Grube sliding backwards, though, now back into position number 5. So Grube falling back a little bit here. Same with Brad Lane as he now slides back into the 8th position, as you do see Nicholas Snyder and now Nate Maurer both looking to try to get around that number 1 ride, as the one of Brad Lane does earn his Darlington strike down through corner 3 and 4. Scrapes that outside fence. Luckily enough, doesn't look like any tire rubs or any issues there, and he'll continue to battle back here just inside our top 10 on the racetrack. But out in front, it's still this 45 ride. Chris Gilbert leading the first 10 laps of this race, having a very good start to this evening as, oh man, Frets for Pets coming in with the share on that stream. How are you, Frets for Pets? The Juke Joint also coming in with that share. Dimitri Curtis coming in with that share, as well as Gregory Turner coming in with that like and the share. Mama Bear, how are you, Mama Bear? Mama Bear coming in, showing the love with that heart reaction. Bruce Muehlberger also coming in with that thumbs up here on the broadcast. As Bruce, you do see your driver a little deeper in the field here. Kevin Winker back in 23rd. He's up a couple spots since the drop of the green flag here, but we'll have to wait and see what Winker's got in store, if he can try to figure out a way to try to race his way up towards the front here after not even getting a qualifying lap in for the 42 ride. Unfortunately, had to start back there deeper in the field. But for Muehlberger in that Custom Homes team, he's, you see that 42 continue to work his way towards the front here, is that Muehlberger Custom Homes Kevin Winker ride now up into 22nd as Sean Herbert does slide back into 23rd here. Definitely not the way he wanted to go, and now we do see an early pit stop here. Oh no, Trench headed down pit side. Rob McDonald making the hard left-hand turn, heading down pit road here. I wonder if he ended up running into some issues, potentially some contact out there for the 31 ride. Doesn't look like any damage necessarily to that FEB distributing 31 rider. Maybe just pure strategy here from Rob McDonald today as he heads down pit road, getting this car fixed up, getting 4 fresh tires put onto it, and we'll see if he can roll back out onto the racetrack. Doesn't look like it. He's staying down here on pit road, so fighting potentially a hold penalty out there for him. I'm not sure what the issue is early on here. We also saw Nathaniel Ostrowiecki. Nathaniel also had to come down pit road here as well. We saw Nathaniel come down pit side on lap number 3. And unfortunately here for Nathaniel Ostrowiecki, he is a lap down. Now, luckily enough, he is the only driver as of right now a lap down out there on the racetrack, but seems to be very early pit stops for some of these drivers, as I do believe Nathaniel Ostrowiecki's was a penalty that he had to serve in that pass-through penalty down pit road. He is a lap down, just hoping to see a quick caution flag and trying to get himself back into the battle as the number 50 ride, the 13, Kyle Van Tassel, Robert Howard here in 25th and 26 out there on the racetrack. Now they are already about 23, almost 24 seconds back behind our race leader Chris Gilbert, so Gilbert could quickly and potentially put them a lap down here, and that would really hurt the odds here this evening for Nathaniel Ostrowiecki, as he's already a lap down and could potentially see other drivers go a lap down, which could lock him back there and keep him trapped a lap down out there on the racetrack. But so far we've been clean and green, nothing but good hard racing here for the first 16 laps of this race as these drivers continue to put on a heck of a show for us. As Richard Bradshaw, what's good, Richard? Richard coming in says, sorry I'm late, let's go LeBan, let's go Groove. Peacemaker, definitely the best broadcast out here. What's good, he says. What's goody, Richard? How are you, brother? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day. As Ronnie Stewart says, how many races left in this series? 8, 9, something like that. I want to say somewhere around there. 8 or 9 races left here in these playoffs for these beautiful HCK Beagles truck drivers, and then they tend to usually take a couple weeks off, and then we come right back with the next series. They may take a month off or so. That's about it. And then we are right back in here, pretty much almost full season all year round with the HCK Beagles, and that's one of the things we love about them, is we're always up here on Tuesday nights putting on these shows for all the fans in the stands. Is Chris Gilbert, Cal Turboville, 1 and 2 out there on the racetrack. They still got a pretty sizable gap here between themselves and our third place driver, Alex Pelican. Pelican trying to hang on to that third spot as Jacob Grube now trying to work his way back up towards the front here after falling back a few spots early on in this race. He's back down low to the inside here. Pelican looking to move back up into position number 3. Pelican will slide back there into 4th as here comes Mark Beverly in that beautiful number 3 ride. The Asheville Outlaws machine trying to race his way up towards the front of the field. Bobby Blair, they're in position number 6 with Nate Maurer, Nicholas Snyder, Brad Lane, and Jason LePan rounding out our top 10 here. LePan still doing a great job just inside the top 10 here this evening as these drivers doing a fantastic job. And yo, my boy, Gregory Mother Fluffin Turner! What in the world? Greg coming in and setting it off here in this one. What in the heck? Mr. Turner coming in, setting it off with a 500-star dono, the big D of the day to my boy, Mr. Turner, here this evening. We appreciate that, brother. Appreciate the love and support here, and honestly, love being up here in the booth, watching these HTK Beagle Truck Series drivers battle every single Tuesday afternoon. As Chris Gilbert out in front, continuing to keep on trying to open up that race lead, is now about 7/10 between himself and Cal Turbeville. So Turbeville giving up a few truck lengths here, still hanging with them, not really on his back bumper, but not really tight there with them either, as you do see that 31 ride of Ron McDonald starting to slide back up onto the racetrack here, finally coming out from the pits. We do see Tyson Bankow had made a green flag pit stop here as well on lap number 16. Will Klein now down pit side here as the Dirt Track Junkies, Dale Earnhardt Jr. throwback paint schemed number 88 ride, that Triple J Motorsports machine, now down pit road. And obviously it looks like he's trying to get this truck service, trying to get it back out there on the racetrack, but it does look like potentially a speeding penalty here for the 88 ride as he is being held and unfortunately now falling multiple laps down out there on the racetrack, and a heartbreaker there for Will Klein. Definitely not the spot you want to be in, trying to short pit here this evening, and all of a sudden finding yourself going multiple laps down, and it's going to be tough to try to get those laps back out there on the racetrack, because that's always going to be one of the issues, one of the problems out here with this style of racing, man. This is a tough racetrack. This is a very slick track. We could see potential late race caution flags or caution flags really at any point here on the racetrack, is all it takes is one wrong move, that one wrong inch on the throttle, and you can put yourself around and bringing out a yellow flag in a quick hurry. As you do see Cal Turbeville starting to close that gap once again here on Chris Gilbert, as Gilbert down across the line will lead lap number 24 here this evening. So Chris Gilbert has been out in front all 24 laps here today, but Cal Turbeville, who is just back about 7/8 of a second behind this 45 ride, has now closed that gap up, and he's right there putting the pressure again to the back bumper of this 45 ride. And they got to be very careful, because lurking back there behind them in the shadows here is the 18 machine, Jacob Grube, starting to hunt them both down here. Grube, who started on the outside of the front row, unfortunately early on moved back, fell back into about that 6th, 7th position, but now has battled his way now back up into that 3rd spot, and he may not be done yet as he continues to close that gap on our race leaders here this evening. Gilbert, Cal Turbeville, nose to tail, 1 and 2 on the racetrack. Beverly now up into 4th here is Alex Pelican. Unfortunately for Pelican, he's running into some issues right there. He gets slideways down through corner number 3 and 4. My gosh, that was a close one. We almost saw our first caution flag of the day here. Let's play this back and take a look, as maybe a little contact right here. Do we see some issues as maybe Ron McDonald gets in here? Looks like he does. Gets in a little too hot. Has the fresher tires. Unfortunately, just does not get onto the binders, or doesn't find the lane underneath of that 16 ride. Ends up getting into his left rear quarter panel. And for Alex Pelican, this is definitely not a spot you want to be in. This is definitely not an issue you want to have out there, as lap traffic coming up. India spinning you sideways. Luckily enough, the wall does catch him, but he does get some pretty solid contact there with that outside fence and the 31 ride, and some pretty solid damage there for him as he's trying to build up all that speed and momentum. Unfortunately, a bunch of drivers just blew right on by him, and now we see Alex Pelican back in about the 10th position on the racetrack now. That is a heartbreaker for Alex Pelican after battling up inside the top 5. Now back into that 10th spot on the racetrack and trying to hang on to this car with that damage, as Snyder was able to jump up and take his spot in position number 5. Brad Lane there in 6. Then we see Bobby Blair, Jason LePan, Zach Michael rounding out our top 9 here on the racetrack. Pelican there in 10th. Then we see Brian Chu. Chu rolls in position number 11 here. His TSR Electric ride rolls right there in position number 11 with the 77 machine of Brandon Domingue there in 12th. Nick Gardner in the Napa Auto Parts 27 ride, rounding out our top 13. And Koshersberger, Kevin Winker, now our top 15 out there on the racetrack is Tim Blankenbeckler, Joshua Ledoux, Brett Summers back there in 18th, Ryan Peterson there in 19th, and John Herbert rounding out our top 20. John McCullich there in 21st in the 21 ride, and then we see Kyle Van Tassel coming down pit road here as well. Van Tassel going to head down pit side. That's going to allow Mr. Robert Howard to get around him, potentially Nathaniel Ostrowiecki's. Unfortunately, now Robert Howard is a lap down. Same with Nathaniel Ostrowiecki. Tyson Pankow a lap down. Nate Maurer down pit side here getting work done to his 971 machine. We do see Ron McDonald back out there. Unfortunately for McDonald, he is a lot of laps down here. I do believe he is roughly about 8 laps down, 9 laps down, something like that. Will Klein also still down pit side here. Unfortunately for Klein, came down pit road on lap number 19 and has not came back out onto the racetrack since then. And unfortunately for that Dirt Track Junkies 88 ride, he is now multiple laps down and definitely no longer in contention here this evening. As Chris Gilbert, though, in full control here this evening. The 45 ride has been picture perfect. He looks to be that reflection of perfection here this evening as he's looking to hang on and keep this race lead for all 137 laps of racing action. As my boy Neil Motherfluffin Lapidus as well, brother, coming in showing the big love as well. I know I missed that a little earlier ago, but Neil Lapidus coming in with 100 biddies over there as well, showing the big love here in this one. As Neil says, I had to miss this week. It's a shame. I'm fast at Darlington. That's a tough one, brother. That's a tough one, but man, we appreciate you showing the big love here, and we appreciate you tuning in and always showing the love here as well on Peacemaker Gaming. Huge shout out there to my boy Neil Motherfluffin Lapidus here this evening, coming in with 100 biddies over there on Twitch. As my boy Anthony Garf, what's good, Anthony? Anthony coming in as well with that share on the broadcast. How are you, Mr. Garf? Showing the love here in this one as HGK Beagle says Cal gonna take it home. This plays into his hands. Oh, does it play into his hands? I don't know. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting to see. As Big Donnie says, heck yeah, Darlington is a driver's track. He says, yes, it is a driver's track. As Dimitri palming to the face says, come on, Trench. Come on, Trench. Shauna, how are you, Shauna? Shauna coming in, showing the love. Shauna coming in, showing the big love here in this one, says hashtag Winker Nation. As Big Donnie says, oh boy, knows how to manage tires, knows they cost in real life, knows what they cost in real life. Yeah, definitely knows what they cost in real life. Is what in the motherfluffin' world, Neil Motherfluffin Lapidus? Are you kidding me, brother? Neil coming in, setting it off again over there on Twitch with the 500 motherfluffin bits. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Neil? That is absolutely insane, brother. The 500 biddies over there on the purple side of things. I appreciate that, my boy. And I do believe Neil also coming in with the resubscribe as well. Coming in, hitting that resubscribe button, becoming a brand new, not a brand new, but becoming a subscriber again over on the Twitch channel as well. So not only coming in with those 600 biddies, but also coming in being a brand new, or not brand new, again, I said that, becoming a subscriber again here on Peacemaker Gaming is absolutely insane, man. That is absolutely wild. As yeah, that's definitely a bot. We'll ban that guy. Account created 11 minutes ago, following since 1 minute ago. Get out of here, bot. Man, that's mostly what Twitch is bots over there. I swear to God, it's just bots over there, man. That's absolutely insane. As here we go, looking at this 45 ride, still hanging on to the race lead here, just over, or actually really virtually 100 laps left to go here. Down the back straightaway, it is a 99.5 lap race left here to that checkered flag. So still a lot of times to make moves, still a lot of time to try to navigate your way back up towards the front of the field, try to put yourself into what could be a winning position here this evening, or, you know, you could potentially lose it, man. There's a lot of time. There's potentially a few green flag pit stops on the horizon for these drivers where you make that mistake, you have a penalty down pit side, you could take what could be an easy top 5, a very good run here at Darlington, and throw it right out the window with a bad pit stop here today. Is unfortunately right now for a lot of these drivers, they're kind of on that edge right now. The tires are really starting to fall off. We've seen about 2 seconds of tire fall off for all these drivers, so that is a lot of time to be given up out there on the racetrack, and for a lot of these other drivers, they're now starting to try to take advantage of it. We saw Alex Pelican head down pit side in that 16 ride. Zach Michael also has came down pit road. We've seen Brandon Domingue now down pit side and just rolling back out there onto the racetrack. We saw honestly early on Nathaniel Ostrowiecki, Tyson Pankow, Rob McDonald, Kyle Van Tassel not too long ago just came down pit side. Will Klein back out there. Going to see Klein back out onto the racetrack here as well. Scored back in 27th. Unfortunately for Nate Maurer, still down pit side here himself as well. So Nate Maurer and Will Klein, a couple of these drivers having issues out there on the racetrack early on this race. We see Kyle Van Tassel, Rob McDonald. They're both also multiple laps down here this evening as well. As here we go, some of our front runners heading down pit road. Here comes Jacob Grube. Here comes Mark Beverly and Brian Chu, all heading down pit side here on lap number 40. So green flag pit stops underway, and now here comes Cal Turbeville as well. Turbeville looked to take that race lead away from Chris Gilbert down here on pit road. This could be a big move, or potentially could cost this 64 ride. Let's take a look here as they both head down into pit lane. 45 ride's getting checked up, but goes a little wide right there. The 64 able to make the turn a little quicker than he does. I'm not sure what the pit road speeding penalty is, or if they were going too quick for that 64 ride, but definitely for the 45. Getting out to that weird angle. Unfortunately, that really affected his entry into pit lane, and it now gave that 64 ride of Cal Turbeville what could be a big advantage out there on the racetrack as they make their green flag pit stops. We do see a few other drivers, Brad Lane, Bobby Blair, all head down pit road here as well. So more drivers making their way down pit side. We do see Jason LePan down pit road, as well as John McCullich in the 21. Now we do see Nick Gardner. Gardner makes his way down pit side. Joshua Ledoux, Ryan Peterson. Here comes Tim Blankenbeckler in that Friends for Pets, the juke joint number 10 ride, also down pit side. John Herbert down pit road. As we do take a look here, there's only about 3 drivers that are running this stage a little bit longer, as Jacob Grube could potentially come out of this with that race lead. Grube out in front here, obviously has 1 lap older tires now than Cal Turbeville. So Turbeville, who came down pit road a lap after this 18 ride, unfortunately gave up that clean air. The fresh air here is now the 18 ride out in front, but Cal able to get down pit road, and in front of Chris Gilbert here is Gilbert back in position number 4, technically on the racetrack, because we do see Ed Kochersberger, Kevin Winker, and that Muleburger Custom Homes Sonic Graphic Designs 42 ride head down pit side. Here comes the Boston Web Marketing ride, even with his Darlington stripes here. That right side all tore up there for the 7 machine of Brett Summers down pit road as well. As Jacob Grube, though, has that race lead. Grube out in front. Cal Turbeville back there in position number 2. And we see Mark Beverly there in 3rd, as Beverly able to come out of pit lane here and be in that 3rd position, as Chris Gilbert back in position number 4. Nicholas Snyder, our top 5, as here comes Zach Michael, Brad Lane, Alex Pelican back up inside the top 8 out there on the racetrack. Now, unfortunately for Zach Michael and for Alex Pelican, a lot of these drivers that they're battling with are unfortunately, you know, got a little bit better tires than what they do out there on the racetrack. So it's going to be tough to kind of hang on, especially for Pelican. He's about 8 lap older tires than a lot of these drivers that are in front of him right now on the racetrack. Brandon Domingue there in 10th, as we do see Brian Chu. Last time around, Chu laid down a very quick lap, his quickest lap of the race back in 13th. We do see Nick Gardner. Last time around, Gardner laid down his quickest lap, and now we do see the quickest lap of this race by any driver out there on the racetrack, just being set here by that 45 ride. Chris Gilbert last time around ran a 29.53, the quickest lap of this race to this point. And for Chris Gilbert, he's hoping to just keep on running and click it off. Very, very quick lap times here, hoping that he can make up that gap and try to reel back in Cal Turbeville, Jacob Grube, and Mark Beverly out there on the racetrack. As right now, he does sit back in position number 4 as Cal Turbeville, who was able to get down pit road a lot cleaner and a lot better than what we saw out of that 45 rider, Chris Gilbert. And for the 64 machine of Cal Turbeville, that could be the big break that he needed to try and pick up the checkered flag here this evening. As Turbeville out in front of the field, Jacob Grube now back into second, Beverly there in third. As here comes Chris Gilbert, here comes Nicholas Snyder, our top 5 out there on the racetrack, trying to navigate their way back up to the front of the field. As Dimitri Curtis says, obviously this is a throwback design for him, but Beverly always has the coolest paint schemes / liveries. He definitely does. He definitely has some really, really cool, unique paint schemes. Now, I have seen this one before. We have seen this one in action out there on the racetrack in the past, but yeah, definitely always such a fresh-looking ride out there for that Asheville Outlaws racing machine, as that car is always looking fresh, always looking good out there, man. Usually not a whole lot of mistakes on it, not a whole lot of errors on the paint scheme, and obviously not a whole lot of errors from that driver, as he's pretty consistent out there on the racetrack right as well. And right now, the 3 machine running in that 3rd position, hoping to maybe try to jump up here, maybe make that move around Chris Gilbert or Jacob Grube, but trying to hold off Chris Gilbert there on the racetrack, as Gilbert reeling both our 2nd and 3rd place drivers in here in a quick hurry, and that's allowing Cal Turbeville. Turbeville, though, has some lap traffic here in front of him, definitely affecting his ride here and his opportunity to try and pull away from everybody else, trying to open up a big lead. You see him making some big moves here, trying to find his way through some of this lap traffic, as unfortunately you do see Kevin Winker right there going to go a lap down. Ryan Peterson a lap down now, as well as John Herbert. Brett Summers now a lap down back here in 19th. Tim Blankenbeckler a lap down back in 20th. Nathaniel Ostrowski, Tyson Pankow, Robert Howard, John McCullich, Kyle Van Tassel, William Klein, Rob McDonald, who's now down pit side again here in that number 31. Ryan Trench, unfortunately, parked down in 27th here. Now multiple laps down, almost 20 laps or so down here this evening. Definitely not where he wants to be. 25 laps down for Nate Mowers. Mowers looking his car back down behind pit wall and potentially out of this race. As Cal Turbeville, though, leading this race, man. This number 64 ride is looking very, very good here this evening. He is looking very fresh. As my boy Neil motherfucking Lapidus coming in again with another 100 biddies as well. Neil, brother, just keep sending those bits, brother, so I know how to check Twitch there, as I try to always get over there. As Neil says, how do you know I haven't been a bot this entire time? Because, Neil, I can click on your account. It says that your account was created July 7th, 2017, brother. Okay, so that's how I can tell. Your account's been around for long enough that you've been continuously using it, and you've been following since, like, you know, a year or better now as well. So that's how I kind of tell when they're a brand new account. They've only been created for a day, and they normally have pretty mediocre or stupid names, then they're definitely suspicious, as Twitch even gives us info on them as well, and they'll tell us, you know, whether or not they're a suspicious user, ban evasion, restricted, and everything else. So basically, they let you know that they're more than likely a bot. I appreciate you, though, coming in again, as Matt says, I won't be back this season. I hurt someone's feelings. Oh, no! Oh, no, Matt hurt some feelings, brother. That's never good. That's never good, brother. You gotta leave those feelings alone, okay? I'll let you know, though, you didn't hurt my feelings. As we do see our first caution flag of the day fly. Our first yellow flag of the evening comes out just after lap number 50 here this evening. Keep a close eye on that KTM number 14 machine, as the ready to race ride, unfortunately ready to see that caution flag fly, as he's going to end up running into some issues here. That is Ed Koschersberger down to his inside. They get tied together. The 14 ride goes around here on the front straightaway, backs it into the outside fence. defense, still trying to catch it, still trying to get checked up here, and unfortunately rolls back onto the racetrack, stopped there on the speedway, which is a good thing because he left that outside lane here for all these other drivers to get around him. No one else gets collected, no one else gets tore out here in this one. As Neil says, Matt's definitely a bot, for certain, definitely a bot. I could see that. 100% a bot, no doubt about it. Matt's definitely bot. He's not subscribed to the channel, so he doesn't even have that Prime sub activated. So he's definitely a bot over there on Twitch for certain. As Cal Turboville did not want to see that caution flag, had some good tires, had a solid lead, but now we'll have all these other drivers right back to his rear bumper. As we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here this evening, it is Cal Turboville who hangs on to the race lead. Now, pretty much everybody inside our top 9 stayed out on the racetrack here. Our top 9 stayed out. We did see Bobby Blair and pretty much everybody else back there behind him that's on the lead lap all come down pit side. That includes Bobby Blair, Brian Chu, Brandon Deming, Ed Koshersberger, Alex Pelican, Kevin Winker, who was able to get the lucky dog there. He's up into the 15th position. Nick Gardner back there in 16th. Tim Blankenbeckler, unfortunately for Tim is a lap down here. He is the, I do believe now the first driver 1 lap down. Same with Ryan Peterson, Brett Summers. We do see John Herbert down pit side, John McCulloch, Nathaniel Osterwisky, Robert Howard, and so many other drivers, unfortunately, laps down here this evening. As Matt says, laugh out loud, yeah, I unfortunately don't have any subs to any channels. What in the world? Says drinking some green monster with the pineapple whiskey tonight. Just sitting back and enjoying. Brother, listen, it's fate. You gotta subscribe now, brother. We got that green monster on the go as well. Oh, that is so good. So good, so refreshing. Huge shout out to Monster Energy. If anyone knows anyone inside a Monster, make sure you guys get me hooked up. Get that sponsorship flowing, okay? I would totally put a massive Monster Energy banner behind me, Monster Energy fridge. I'd put a Monster Energy everything back there in the background behind me. That is for certain. I would be their biggest gosh heckin' supporter. As Cal Turboville out in front gets a great restart here, now looking to try to run away once again from Jacob Grube and the rest of the field. But the big question is going to be some of those drivers back there that gave up track position, that gave up better spots on the racetrack to potentially get that fuel, get those tires, or get what they need here late in this race or middle through this race to really figure out, kind of what they need to do and what their game plan is here. Potentially the extra, 10 laps or so of fuel into their rides. Maybe that opens up the window to them only having to make one more pit stop here. But I think a lot of these other drivers should be able to make it here. If they can stretch it out, they may be able to make it, on only just one more stop as well. But it's going to get very, very tight. Drivers that were, out in front here, when we look at Cal Turboville, Nicholas Snyder, Jacob Grube, they were down pit road on lap 40, lap 41. So if that's kind of the median on where these drivers can make it on a tank of fuel out there on the racetrack, that really opens up the gap here to where, if they can only make it 40 laps, then they got to come back down pit road on lap number 80. Maybe even if they stretch it a little bit, they come down towards lap 85 with the fuel that they saved there, not only on the racetrack, but fuel that they saved during that caution flag. That's still a lot of laps left to go. If they can only make it another 40 laps, that puts them only to what? Lap number, 125? That's 12 laps, 10 laps shy of fuel. Can they make it the rest of the way? Can they find that extra bit of fuel? Can they hang on to their race cars that long, where other drivers now with that fuel that they just took on could potentially go to about lap number 95, lap 100 potentially, and definitely be good on fuel to the end of this race and not having to worry about taking an additional pit stop here later this evening, especially if we stay clean and green and it doesn't open up opportunities for things to get more balanced out there throughout the field. This could definitely make things very, very interesting, very wild here this evening for what these drivers are able to do out there on the racetrack. As Cal Turboville leads the way here. He is out in front. He's on that throttle, and he's looking to try to run away as here comes Nicholas Snyder. Snyder now up into position number 2 as Jacob Grube slides back to 3rd. Beverly there in 4th, and Chris Gilbert, our early race leader there, and our pole sitter, the 45 ride, sits back in position number 5. The one machine of Brad Lane there in 6, and then we see Zach Michael as our top 6, kind of single file right there, somewhat nose to tail, and all within about a second and a half of each other, but a second and a half back behind Brad Lane. We do see our 7th place driver, Zach Michael. Michael rolls there in position number 7. Jason LePan there in 8. Bobby Blair back in 9th, and Brian Chu now rounding out our top 10. As Brandon Ming there in 11th, Joshua Ledoux there in 12th with Ed Koshersberger, Nick Gardner, Kevin Winker, Alex Pelican, our top 16 out there on the speedway, as Ryan Peterson now into that free pass position. So the Ridge Power Sports number 469 Ryan, the KR Gunners machine, up and into position number 17 on the racetrack, and he's in that free pass spot as right now only 16 drivers still on the lead lap here this evening. Is what's good, dude? Guy Brian, how are you, brother? Brian coming in, showing the love. How are you, dude? How you doing this afternoon, brother? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day. As Dude Guy coming in, showing the love here in this one. How are you, mister? How you doing today? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Tuesday. As Big Donnie says, go number 64. Just watch the gap widen, he says. Watching that gap widen out there on the racetrack as we are now on to lap number 64 here in the 64 ride of Cal Turboville. Continues to lead the way, and he will complete lap number 64 here this evening as that Klondike 64 ride out in front of the field, continuing to lead the way here this evening. As Nicholas Snyder back there in second, Jacob Grube hanging on right there to third. Now they're starting to open up a bit of a gap between themselves and Mark Beverly. Beverly in that Asphalt Outlaws Racing number 3 machine, trying to hold on to position number 4 here on the racetrack as here comes Chris Gilbert. Here comes Brad Lane, all looking to try to make their way up and around this number 3 machine of Mark Beverly out there on the racetrack. As unfortunately for some drivers, not the runs that they were hoping for here this evening. We still see Trench down pit side. Unfortunately has not rolled back out on the racetrack since lap number 40 for Nate Maurer. He's been down and out of this race for quite a while. Same with Will Klein. Klein's still running out there. Kyle Van Tassel as well. These drivers are multiple laps down here. We do see Tyson Pankow. He's a few laps down out there on the racetrack. Same with Robert Howard, Nathaniel Osherwisky. A lot of these drivers multiple laps down here this afternoon, and definitely not a spot you want to be. You don't want to be back there this deep in the field and really not in contention or in an area to try to jump up and make moves and potentially put yourself into a solid finishing position here, where especially if you're one of our playoff competitors, if you're one of our playoff drivers here inside the top 20, having a bad race here in race number 1 probably isn't the way you want to get your your season kick started here for the postseason, and trying to move forward through these playoffs and trying to race your way back into potentially winning this championship. As all these drivers continue to do a great job out there on the racetrack. So far, only that one caution flag right around lap number 50 as we start to get into another longer green flag run here this evening. Drivers starting to worry about those tires, trying to worry about a little bit of a game plan here, and potentially fuel could become an issue here for a lot of these drivers, for a lot of our race leaders out there on the racetrack. When you look at Cal Turboville, Jacob Grube, Nicholas Snyder, Mark Beverly, the 45 rider Chris Gilbert even, and then you look back at Brad Lane, Jason LePan, some of these drivers that could potentially have to come down pit side here in the next 15 laps or so, 15-20 laps. They may be forced to come down pit road, where the other drivers back behind them that are still on the lead lap, they may be able to make it 12-13 laps longer than what these other drivers can. So that is a long time out there on the racetrack. A lot can happen if you have to pit early here this evening. If you can't make it any farther, you come down pit side 10-15 laps before these other drivers do. There's a lot of open area there to where you could potentially go a lap or multiple laps down out there on the racetrack, have a caution flag fly, and trap you back there a lap down or multiple laps down out there on the racetrack. So you got to be very careful and very conscious about that pit strategy and when you want to try to make your move into pit lane here late in this race. There's nothing but good hard racing here again this evening, as we did see Robert Robert Howard come back down pit side. We do see Ryan Peterson now heading down pit road here as well. Now, these are a couple drivers that did come down pit road earlier here, did not come down pit side during that last caution flag, and unfortunately, they're back down pit road trying to get some work done. We did see Nathaniel Ostrowiecki also down pit side. He was able to make his green flag pit stop, his second green flag pit stop there on lap number 65. As now, here we go. We do see Zach Michael, he starts to head down pit road. His green flag pit stop start arrives here once again, and for a lot of these drivers, how's it going to play out for them? Is it going to work out in their favor? Are they going to have problems here this evening? Could they get trapped a lap or multiple laps down and potentially take themselves out of contention here this evening, or have to try to battle their way back through maybe a couple lucky dogs or wave rounds to try and get themselves back in and on the action on the lead lap here this evening? We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out, as there goes our race leaders down and around that number 34 as Zach Michael does go a lap down. Is now, here we go, Alex Pelican also heading down pit road. So Alex Pelican heads down pit side here himself, and for Cal Turbeville and the rest of our race leaders not too far away from putting that 16 ride a lap down here this evening as well. But Pelican going to be looking to try to use those fresh tires to his advantage here. If things can cycle around, see everyone else in front of him have to come down pit road and make these green flag pit stops, then potentially he could put himself back on the lead lap and back into the thick of things here this evening. And with the timely yellow flag, could potentially help him out here this evening. But with an untimely caution flag, could be trapped a lap back there as he's just down into his pit stall. See our race leaders headed down through corner number 3 and 4 right now. And for that number 16 ride, he could potentially go a couple laps down out there on the racetrack. As here he comes, rolling back out of pit lane, but down the front straightaway. Here comes Cal Turbeville, Jacob Grube, and Nicholas Snyder. They may roll right on around that number 16 of Pelican. Pelican just trying to get back up onto the racetrack. Here he is down the back straightaway. Luckily enough, able to stay only one lap down here this evening, but unfortunately for that 16 ride, he can't have a mistake. He can't run into another problem. He's got to hope that those fresh tires can help him run away from the rest of the field, as there's our race leaders pretty much directly behind him here, and if he has problems, could all of a sudden find himself going multiple laps down here. But he's going to have those fresher tires, should be able to lay some great lap times down. His last time around, Zach Michael, who's also a lap down here on the racetrack, the 34 ride, just laid not only his quickest lap of this race, but the quickest lap of this race, a 29:37, the quickest lap over everybody else here this evening. That was a blazing fast lap time, virtually about 2/10 quicker than any other lap a driver has put down here this evening. Absolutely blazing fast lap time right there for that number 34 ride. We'll have to wait and see if Zach Michael can continue to use those fresh tires and everything else to try to race his way back up through the field and try to get back into the battle here to put himself into contention, as we did see that 50 ride right there slow down through corner number 3 and 4. Unfortunately, some pretty solid right front damage there for that Innovative Therapy Solutions number 50 ride of Robert Howard, as Howard rolls back in that 24th position, trying to keep that thing pointing in the right direction. Now running into more problems, gets up into the outside fence again. More issues here for Howard, as coming out of corner number 2, takes that wall. Looks like he's going to try to take this thing back down pit side, as the Howard Orthotics and I don't know what that other word is, but the orthotics machine heads down pit side here, looking to get that truck repaired, hoping to get back out there in a timely manner to get back into the action. As here comes Mark Beverly down pit side. Here it is, Asheville Outlaws number 3 machine. So Mark Beverly leaving the top 10, top 5, and putting himself down pit side to get this set of green fresh tires and green flag pit stop here. So he's got fuel, got tires, rolling back out there onto the racetrack, as Nicholas Snyder has moved himself around Cal Turbeville. Turbeville back into second here, as Nicholas Snyder was able to use some of the other drivers around him to jump up and take that race lead. But right now you see our top 4, top 5 kind of all right there, nose to tail. Snyder leads the way. Turbeville trying to take that top spot back away from him, as Jacob Grube pushing that 64 ride right down low, deep into corner number 1 and 2. Now you see Snyder get up into the outside fence. That will allow the 18 of Jacob Group to get around him as well as Cal Turboville jumps back out in front. Chris Gilbert trying to work his way around that 5 ride. Unfortunately got a little bit of a shove right there. Had to roll out of the throttle down the back straightaway. Lost that momentum. He'll slide back into 5th as Brad Lane will move around him. Now he'll try to jump up and use his car to try to drive up to the front of the field here, as a lot of these drivers there getting closer and closer to having to potentially come down pit road here once again as well. So green flag pit stops potentially once again on the horizon here for our race leaders. As Count Turboville, Jacob Grube, Nicholas Snyder, Brad Lane, and Chris Gilbert are top 5 on the racetrack. A second back, we do see that 20 ride of Jason LePan, Bobby Blair, Brandon DeMay a little farther back there in 8th, Brian Chu there in 9th, and a little farther behind them, you do see that 27 ride of Nick Gardner rounding out our top 10 on the racetrack. Ed Koschersberger, Kevin Wanker, Joshua Neal, our top 13 here on the Speedway, and is our top 13 that are still on the lead lap as the 34 of Zach Michael sits in that free pass position. Michael, first car 1 lap down out on the racetrack, hoping to try to put himself up and into victory lane here this evening. As bear with us, chat, I'm not sure what the internet was doing right there, but we did see and notice skip frames here real quick. Bear with us, bear with us. I saw Facebook was starting to run into some issues here. We're hoping that everything else clears up and we don't have any more problems. Oh no, it is skipping a lot of frames here, chat. Chat, this is not what we wanted to see. This is definitely not what we wanted right now. No skip frames. Come on, baby. Get yourself together here, PC. Come on, start pumping out some good stuff here. Quit skipping frames, dang it. Quit skipping frames. Bear with us, chat. If you are experiencing any lagginess or anything else, do not stress about it. It should hopefully clear itself up here in just a little bit. There was Streamlabs last little while. It has definitely been struggling the last little bit. So hopefully you guys don't have any more lagginess or anything else. Hopefully it gets better and hopefully you don't have to worry about it. Hopefully it does better. Man, it's still skipping frames here. What in the world is going on? What is drawing power that it is skipping frames on us here, chat? I'm not sure what is happening here. Frames are definitely down over on Facebook. Frames are down pretty much everywhere. What are you doing here, man? Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it to heck, chat. The internet speed just decided that they wanted to run out right there, and now it says no data over on YouTube. Oh no. The stream will end shortly unless you restart it in your streaming software. What in the fluff do you mean? Come on. Get your stuff together here. Come on. Come on, YouTube. Come on, Streamlabs. Work with me. All right, chat, we may have to restart here. We may have to restart. I know we're in the middle of the race right now. We are unfortunately experiencing such bad buffering that I don't think you guys are going to be able to get a good experience or be able to even watch this race. So I think we're going to have to probably end it and try to restart it here in just a little bit. I don't understand why it's not working very well. I don't understand why it's not rolling easily out there. We have the best internet. We have fiber optic 1 gig internet. I don't know why it's not wanting to work easy for us. As Julie Smith says, number 87 for the win. Cheered on that 87 right here this evening. 87 machine having a great run, solid drive this evening. And all these drivers putting on a hell of a show for us out there on the racetrack. Each and every one of them, man, looking very, very strong, putting together a great race for us. And we'll have to wait and see if this can continue to just stay good for us and not have more issues. I'm hoping that the that Streamlabs or whatever fixes itself, but it does not look like it's going to happen. All right, chat, we're gonna get it restarted. We're gonna get it restarted. We will be back. Let me type in the chat. Having to restart stream.